And welcome back to Jeff Koinange live at the Villa Rosa Kempinski. That's where we are for the rest of the year, folks. And what a lineup we have today. The bench is packed. Already Ngunjiri Wambungu thinks he's in charge. He's asking the questions. Yes. But it's okay. He's the founder and CEO of Change Associates, staunch Jubilee supporter. The man in the middle, Cord's very own MP for Kibra, Kenneth Okoth, and the man at the far end, peacemaker himself with a Ghanaian outfit, fresh from Ghana, Ledama Olekina. Twitter handles at Ledama, at Okoth Kenneth, at Ngunjiri Wambungu, at Koinange Jeff. The hashtag is State of the Nation. Let me read just a couple of tweets, gentlemen. Eugene Wekulo says, wonderful show with great guys, love it. Patience says, does this mean that for things to happen we need KOT? Ledama, you raised that. Is that what happens?
Yeah, I think we do. We need Kenyans to be awake. We've got to take the government to task. The reason why we have three arms of government is because of a check and balance system. So if we don't check each other, then people will just have a free ride.
So is KOT the fourth arm?
I think it isn't it, because it reminds these people of not only the fiduciary responsibility, but the people who elected them want answers.
Mheshimiwa, did it take KOT, did it take the opposition, did it take mass movement, if you will, to tell the Jubilee administration that corruption was a cancer? Is that what it took for them to finally do something?
I think the technology, Twitter, Facebook, is really democratizing this country, and all leaders who are not on social media should try get there. I find it very beneficial. It cuts lines of communication. I can get feedback on things that matter to my people. I mean, the last 14 days, there was a go-slow of garbage removal. The people of Kibra pay taxes and expect their garbage to be removed. Whether we are using NYS, whether we're using the Nairobi City County, they want their garbage removed and their neighborhoods clean. So, people put up the pictures. We discuss it on Facebook, and I try to reach, anybody I can in government. You don't get the responses, you don't get the callbacks from the SMS on time. You put that one Twitter on picture on Twitter, yes, that your citizens have sent to you, your voters have sent to you. Everyone's responding from State House to there. Within 2 days they're fixing. So do not underestimate. The garbage is being collected, and even the contractor who was on go slow is starting to show back in Kibra. It hasn't been fully collected. We saw trucks we haven't seen in 2 weeks. Yeah. So I think social media has power. It matters, and it can be used in good ways. Let the young people of this country use it as a chance to engage their leaders, and let the leaders not be too slow, or they'll find they have been left behind. But I think it's great. And I think if Jubilee needs to listen to Twitter to act, that's a good thing. Yeah. And I'm happy that we have a free media in Kenya. You don't hear about corruption in Uganda or Tanzania or Ethiopia because they don't have a free media. So I think Kenya, the glass is not even a question of half full or is it half empty. I think the glass for Kenya is full. Half with good water, and half of it maybe with bad gases, mapepo mabaya, we need to get rid of as we fill it with more good water. But our glass is full. You will not hear, ask anyone who does business. Yeah. Trisel Petroleum from Kenya, Trisel Petroleum in Congo, Burundi, South Sudan, you'll realize how corrupt and difficult the business environment is there. It just won't be reported in their media. Here in Kenya, you can write anything. You can even make mistakes and go overboard, but you'll still be alive. Absolutely. So I think Kenya is making progress. Let us make sure we don't go back. When I mentioned to you the cabinet secretaries, today we had a debate in Parliament. I was one of two MPs who took up...
How'd it go?
It went not the way I liked, but and on a very practical reason. We have a two-third gender rule, Article 27, Section 8 of the Constitution, clear, black and white. Not more than two-thirds of any one gender shall make up a corporate state body, appointive or elective. We're trying to figure out how to fix that for the National Assembly and for the Senate, electives. But the cabinet, the president can find women. And when he doesn't find and put in the women in a cabinet of 24, there has to be a minimum 7 women or 8 women. He only put 5. That means there's 2 slots constitutionally for women that he has robbed the women of Kenya and given to men. Why are the women of this country silent? they're just letting things go. But this constitution was meant to move us forward. And I don't think 30% of the cabinet as women is a good thing. That is the bottom line, the starting point for a negotiation. It's a floor. It's not the ceiling. We should have 50-50. Like in Canada, their new Prime Minister Trudeau just got elected, and he had pledged in his campaign. You know, he reminds me of Uhuru Kenyatta when Uhuru campaigned to be president for Jubilee. This guy has gone in and put a Canadian cabinet, 50% women, 50% men. Obama told us these things in July. Don't leave half of your team behind. You won't score goals, you win the league. The genius of our women who produce most of our food, raise our children, care for us when we are sick, educate our kids, should not be left behind. Tap that energy, empower it, and we will move Kenya far much better. Okay, so Kenya is a good country. Yeah. It could be much, much better.
Absolutely. Ngunjiri, we talked about social media at the top of this break. And sometimes people say there's too much freedom. And even the president commented not too long ago, he says, look, you will be held responsible for what you say. Yeah. Because if you comment on things that turn out to be wrong, you will have to be accountable. Do you have too much? Is freedom too?
Okay, you can never have too much freedom. But then freedom must come with responsibility. That's what tells the difference between mature children, children and mature people. If you're all grown up and you're, for example, if I walk in here and say, this is my tie, this guy has stolen my tie, this is my tie, you know? Yeah. And then I wait for him, and it's up to him to prove that it is not my tie. Really. That's where we've gotten to as a country, and especially on social media. Social media is good. I mean, we get stuff done. Not just here. We get CNN to make apologies. We get South Africa to, when sometimes some minister made a comment about Kenya, and we turned it around. Yeah. I mean, Nigeria. You know, when Kenyans say, someone tell you, boss, you better listen. So we
never attacked Robert Mugabe when he talked about corruption.
No, it was not true.
Even our grandmothers.
Because it wasn't true. Because it wasn't true. No. That was the problem. You see, also, now that's what I'm saying.
It wasn't true. Mugabe didn't say it?
Mugabe didn't say it.
Oh, come on.
No, he didn't say it.
But
that statement that was
it was a rhetorical device that was used to say something Kenyans were afraid to say. If we have to quote Mugabe to say the truth about Kenya.
Mugabe and ran with it.
Right.
So what my problem is about, and it happens more on social media than anywhere else, people have gotten to the point where you can actually say absolutely anything about anyone and have no cost. There's no cost to you at all. You can wake up and call anyone. You can call Jeff names. You can speculate about his sexual orientation. You can say all manner of stuff.
And get away with it.
And get away with it. And that's the problem. My problem is not freedom. I have absolutely nothing.
You get a lot of hate, by the way. A lot of
yes,
hate.
I do. Yes, I do.
But you take it in stride.
I've got thick skin, man. My problem is when we get to the point where when you can say anything, then a lot of stuff gets lost. For example, I mean, this has been the example, and a lot of the noises that have been going around, even about scandals in government. You have people saying, speculating. I mean, you saw Waiguru. Waiguru was a perfect example of how terrible and how horrible public comments can be on a person. We had all manner of speculations on her. But none of the people who made those comments, including elected members of parliament, were held to account for what they say. And that is what we need to change. We should not pull freedom back. What we need to do is bring responsibility at par with freedom. Okay. So that you have your freedom, but then how you use it, be responsible.
Yeah. Ledama, speaking of scandals, the Eurobond so-called scandal, is it made up? Is it real?
No, it's not. I think, and I haven't spoken to Raila about this, but I think from listening to Raila speak, I think he's speaking from raw data. You know, I think he knows what he's talking about. And it is
but he
very
refused
sad.
to go to EACC.
No, listen to me.
Okay.
I think threatening to arrest him is one of the biggest blunders, you know, that anyone can make. Number one.
Which was laughing.
Okay. Now let me tell you something. Why? I mean, you have to protect a whistleblower. I think, you know, the president himself said there's corruption in my office. Why wasn't he arrested? Why was an EAC coming and said, you know what, come and make a statement?
But you know, Ledama, sorry to interrupt you. The president did not say,
I
have information about the people who are corrupt in my office.
No. But if this gentleman comes in and says, I have information.
That's what he said.
Okay? Then it behooves the EACC team to carry out investigations.
Why not just ask him?
You know, let me tell you, history, you know, we should learn from history, but not look at it and ignore it. He shouldn't take people like Kofi Annan to call us and say, gentlemen, remember what happened in 2017? You know, this country, I think this government and the culture of threats is just overboard. And I
Mheshimiwa,
think we need to change that.
your thoughts, Eurobond.
I think Eurobond has been actually a very low point. First of all, for President Uhuru Kenyatta. I thought when he was at Jamhuri Day, he lost his cool. Absolutely. Whatever it is, a president must never be seen.
You think he lost his cool?
I think he lost his cool. There you are, you're hosting the Aga Khan, you're hosting the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. It's a solemn occasion, it's important. You don't forget and go into Kiswahili and the way he did. I think it was a low point for him in that sense. Someone needs to coach him. And all of us as leaders can get coaching to be better. Yeah. How do you present yourself? How do you handle your message? What do you let the Duales of the world to say? What do you let William Ruto say? And what don't you say that's not presidential? I think it was a low point for him, and I wish the president well. And we just have to say the truth. Now let's get to the substance of the matter. Prime Minister Raila Odinga, you ignore him at your own peril. The Prime Minister is very experienced as a politician and has been engaged with government and the independence of Kenya in this second liberation in a major way. He was coordinator of government business in the Kibaki government. You know, so he was a real Prime Minister. He knows these things. When you talk about Thika Highway, you know, from Kahawa Barracks all the way down to Juja and on to Thika, was built for 30 billion. Despite inflation, when you pump in 140 billion into the Kenyan economy and it circulates, we should be able to see infrastructure projects as much. Turn Thika Highway into all the way into Mandera. Mombasa Road. From Mombasa, the highway all the way to Kisumu, Busia. Make it 4 lanes. Let us feel that, okay? You can do that with that money, because we know the money didn't go into standard gauge railway. That's a separate. So when he brought that up, I think the EACC messed up, and he provided the documents. The jobs of citizens is to ask. He has an inclination. He can look at the documents that have been provided. The numbers don't add up. Treasury has provided different numbers. So I think on the Eurobond, the government needs to come clean. What were the foreign accounts being managed? It was the first time we'd done this according to the Constitution and the Finance Act. There's a lot of questions to be asked. The fact of the matter is, if you pump in 140 billion into the Kenyan economy, we will see the impact of it.
Ngunjiri,
it's just not there.
You've commented quite a bit in your articles
and I have actually spent a lot of time just trying to analyze the Eurobond issue, trying to get to the bottom of it. And some of the problems we're having is the kind of statement that Mheshimiwa has just made. It's actually true, okay, and I don't have a problem with your figures, though they are wrong by 110. It's actually 250 billion. But you see, one of the things we fail as a country to do is context. We run a 2.1 trillion annual budget. 250 billion is 11% of the money that was spent by government in the year 2014 to 2015. Now, if you're so, and these guys in Parliament are the ones who came up with the projects that were going to be funded by the budget, by the money that the government was going to raise. And government raises money using taxes, local bonds, because actually domestic borrowing is local bonds, and now for the first time we did a foreign bond. Now all that money came in to fund the budget that these guys had passed, that was going to be how money was going to be spent, what the project that government was going to do for 2014, 2015, the kind of investments that government was going to make. Now when I keep hearing the kind of comments that I'm hearing is that, so where did that particular money go? And I want to ask, how come nobody's asking, where did the 89% of the remaining budget go out of the 2.1 trillion? And the reason I'm asking is no.
Let me just give me a chance to respond to Ngunjiri. No, Ngunjiri,
let me explain.
you're not contextualizing.
Let me explain so that you guys can come and say what you need to say.
He's not contextualizing. You're misleading.
Hold on.
It is not wrong.
What are you saying?
No,
it is not wrong.
I just need to understand.
Yeah.
Is it wrong
for
you to be called to account?
It is not. And my question is, we have 250 billion.
Has misled.
We are asking people. It's 250 billion. We are asking about. We have another, what? Remove 250 billion from.
Why don't we say this?
Go ahead.
In a simple way, why don't we say this? You focus on explaining to us the 89% and let us also ask about this 11%.
Yes, okay.
Now, number two, Ngunjiri is trying to mislead here. He's telling us about context. That's a fancy, nice word.
No, it's not.
The reality of the matter is 250 billion shillings is not pocket change.
It is
As
not.
Honorable Duale would say,
Yes.
here, 250 billion shillings is a lot of money.
That's true.
So do not tell us it's
But
just
11% of our budget.
It is 11% of money that was borrowed.
Yes.
That just let me finish. Stop singing a chorus. Let me finish. Ngunjiri, let me finish. Don't give me a chorus. I am saying this is money Kibra people will have to pay taxes to repay. If you can't account for it, this wasn't money for recurrent expenditures. We know what goes to judiciary, we know what goes to pay our teachers, we know what goes to pay our military, we know that. We are asking this was money for projects, for infrastructure.
Yes.
If I care about education as I do, and you say you gave money to the ministries, show me in the Ministry of Education what projects did they do? What are the new universities? Where are the new dormitories?
Do you think the money
if you're
was stolen,
telling me in transport,
do you think it was stolen?
I think the money never even landed in Kenya.
See
Some
now,
of
the
that
kind
money never
now
landed.
what these guys are saying.
No, let me justify. I think the money never landed in Kenya because if it landed and was circulating here, you would see it. We have contractors working out of business having not been paid for building roads.
Ledama.
Ngunjiri, it is not wrong to make a mistake. If you don't know how that money was spent,
Yeah.
I know how it was spent.
Well, tell us. Give us a list of projects.
Hold on.
I've been about it.
Okay, let us give him the chance to give us a list of projects if he knows.
You know better than the CS for Treasury?
No, but the CS has explained.
No, wait. Who are the signators? Who are the signator of those accounts?
We had signatories. We had accounts in New York. We had accounts in London. That are so unprocedural.
This is ignorance now.
It is not
on the bench.
ignorance. You know what?
Jeff,
you cannot.
this is ignorance
Hey,
on the bench.
Ngunjiri, you're the new host. Carry on.
This is ignorance on the bench.
It is not ignorance.
Let me explain to you.
Okay.
Let me explain to you. You've told me you want to hear what happened. You've talked about foreign accounts.
No,
Every-
okay,
you've
just
talked
tell
about
me the
foreign accounts.
projects. I
Foreign
can make a
accounts.
mistake
No,
on
no,
foreign
let's talk
accounts.
about
Tell me the
foreign-
projects
so-
too.
It's important
And then
for me
the
to explain
projects.
foreign accounts as well, because that's something that Kenyans are losing because of the kind of comments that Mheshimiwa was saying. This bond was floated in a foreign country.
In Dublin.
It needed to be collected.
Yeah.
Collection accounts.
Yeah.
JP Chase, Citibank,
Yeah.
who now transferred the money to the consolidated account of government. That's what happened. We don't have a KCB
Ngunjiri,
in New York.
Very quick question.
It's important for
No,
that.
but very quick
Ngunjiri,
question.
where is
Very
the money?
quick.
Where is the
Very
money?
quick
Now,
question.
second thing.
How did the
Second
Qatari
thing.
bank get involved?
Yeah.
Since we're talking about foreign accounts, where did the Bank of Qatar get involved?
Where has it gotten involved?
The Bank of Qatar ended up at the middle of the deal towards the end as one of the managers.
You know, we
it was
had
never there in front.
Collection accounts.
No.
You
So
guys are the ones-
this is
No,
why
I'm
I'm telling
talking
you
about
someone who's
collection.
never made
Listen,
it.
you guys
You talked about foreign. Now let's
messed
talk
up,
about
eh?
let's talk
You know
about the
what?
projects.
Okay, gentlemen,
Let's talk about
hold the thought.
projects.
Hold the thought. Hold the thought. Hold the thought. Mheshimiwa, what did he say? What did Dwale say?
Hizi
Yeah.
pesa si ya
Yeah.
That one.
hii pesa ni ya wamama wa Kibra ambao wanauza omena, wanauza mandazi
na
na
Wamasai pia
watalipa
bwana.
those taxes.
Hata
And
watu
them
ya
people
Nyeri
Kibra,
wanalipa
them
taxes.
people
No,
from
no,
Masailand.
and Masailand.
And the
They are
Masai
sure
who
they are
live in
Masai in
Kibra
Kibra.
and
Yes,
raise.
and Nyeri.
Hii pesa ni yao na hao watalipa.
Nyeri
The money
books.
wasn't borrowed on the Dublin
Hata
Stock
pesa ya Nyeri, of
Exchange
course.
This is
for,
important.
for
Even
personal
Nyeri
loan.
people pay
It was
taxes.
borrowed under
Now-
the crown of the Kenyan government. So hii pesa ni ya mama yangu. My
And you
mom
see-
lives
you
here.
see, this
I
is
will
my
pay for it. She will pay the taxes. Everything is. You know what? The sad part.
Go on.
Kenya in Africa. Only Kenya and South Africa have VAT on books. Why do we have VAT on books, yet we want to educate our children? We're making education expensive for the poorest. Why do we have that VAT? Because we need to spend money to pay loans that we are not using to benefit our people.
guys,
Farmers can transport
guys,
things.
hold that
You know,
thought.
these are
One
just those
project,
things.
one project,
We
one
have
project.
just raised taxes.
One
These are the
project.
important things. We're talking about state of the
You
nation.
guys have asked about
Young
projects.
people. Time has passed, Bwana.
Yes,
Young people, you're hosting the
let's
show.
give him a chance.
Young people
Yeah,
in
I'll
this
check.
country
That quiz was
were
there.
promised 1 million jobs
Yes.
by the Jubilee Manifesto.
Yeah.
I'm not lying. It's not my opinion. I'm quoting the Jubilee
We're not at
Manifesto.
we're not-
1 million jobs
We're
per
not at
year.
2017 yet.
We have to be delivered the 5 million jobs in 2017. We expected 1 million every year, okay? So that those young people start paying taxes. Instead, we are shrinking the economy. Look at the transport sector. Entry point, a border. We have raised the exercise tax on borders. Where is the sensitivity for the young people who
Gentlemen,
need that?
hold that thought.
you know?
Ngunjiri, you'll be first up when you come back from the break, because I know
He's a
you're
host.
raring to go.
He's
You're
a
raring.
co-host.
I need to.
Co-host.
So you should be gracious and let us talk.
Well,
And
lead,
Ledama,
well lead, well lead,
and
well lead.
Okoth, and Ngunjiri Wambungu, the host, and Koinange Jeff, the hashtag State of the Nation. It's just warming up here at the Villa Rosa Kempinski. Great minds, young minds, brilliant minds. Keep talking. That's what we want, gentlemen.
Oh, yes.
Keep talking, which is great. It's healthy, and it keeps us going forward. Let's take a break. JKL. We'll be back in a moment.